What if the verses you've quoted your whole life don't mean what you think they do? What if some of the truths repeated in churches, books, and social media aren't exactly wrong, but they're incomplete, mistranslated, or stripped of context? These aren't just minor errors. Some of them change the story entirely, and the implications are stranger than you've been told. Take one of the most famous lines in the New Testament, "Judge not, lest you be judged." On the surface, it sounds like a total ban on judgment. But if you read carefully, Jesus isn't outlawing discernment, he's warning against hypocrisy. A few verses later, he tells his followers to be vigilant, to evaluate false teachers by their fruits. Somewhere along the line, the message got simplified into a blanket rule against judgment, a line used to silence people rather than guide them. It's a small shift in wording, but it changes everything, from a call to wisdom to an excuse for ignoring deception. Then there's the claim that money is the root of all evil. That line has shaped sermons, self-help books, even memes, but it's not what the Bible says. Paul actually wrote that the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. The difference is huge. Money itself isn't inherently corrupt, it's obsession, greed, and the way it can twist priorities that lead to destruction. This misinterpretation has quietly influenced the way people think about wealth, poverty, and morality for centuries, often in ways that benefit the powerful more than the faithful. The story of Adam and Eve is another place where the text is often oversimplified. Were they really the first humans? Genesis never says they were the only people alive. Cain fears being killed after he leaves Eden, and he takes a wife from a place called Nod, a land that must have already been inhabited. Some scholars suggest Adam and Eve were not the first humans biologically, but the first to walk in covenant with God. They were the first to bear his image and live under his command. That raises questions that have been quietly ignored. Who were the others, and what became of them? Were they forgotten, erased from the story, or something else entirely? Even popular verses are often misunderstood. Take Jeremiah 29:11, which is plastered on mugs, posters, and Instagram posts, "For I know the plans I have for you." Most people interpret this as a personal promise. But in context, Jeremiah was speaking to the nation of Israel, exiled and suffering in Babylon. This was a collective message, a covenantal promise to a people in despair, not an individual guarantee of prosperity or comfort. Context changes the meaning completely, and yet, in modern culture, context is often traded for reassurance. The Bible is full of these examples, words and concepts that have been distorted, simplified, or misread over centuries. Hell in some passages is more complex than eternal fire. Angels are described without wings, yet we picture them feathered. Even minor translation choices can shift the meaning in profound ways. Open the original texts, explore the languages and histories, and you start to see a world hidden beneath what we've been told. What's striking is how persistent these misunderstandings are. Some were accidental, some may have been deliberate, shaped by tradition, culture, or power. The result is a text that is familiar yet mysterious, comforting yet strange, simple on the surface, but almost infinite when you dig deeper. Every verse has layers, every word a shadow of its original meaning, and the deeper you look, the more questions appear, questions that the surface-level readings can't answer. So, the real question isn't just what these verses say, it's what has been hidden in plain sight. What truths have been masked, mistranslated, or quietly reshaped? What stories exist in the shadows, waiting for someone willing to read closely, to ask hard questions, to explore the mysteries beneath the words? Some of these verses were never meant to be fully understood by everyone, and yet, once you start seeing the patterns, it's impossible to unsee them. This is not about preaching or telling you how to believe. It's about noticing the mysteries, the cracks in the familiar, the parts of the text that have been smoothed over, simplified, or erased. There's a reason these misinterpretations survive. They provoke thought, they challenge assumptions, and they hide a history far more complex than most of us realize. And when you start looking, you realize that every misread verse, every half-truth, every mistranslation is an invitation to explore, question, and uncover what has been hidden beneath tradition for centuries.